Hello, Michael Glenn back here in the US from Japan. I had a great trip, studied lots of interesting ideas with Sensei and the Shihan. One of the ideas we will look at in this episode of the Dojo Show is the basic Kihon for Tsurugi or Ken. So stay tuned for those details. Let's talk about some sword basics that'll connect us to the Tsurugi or the Ken. Um, when you cut with a katana, one of the tips that people use for the stopping point of the cut is this hand, this thumb knuckle hits your arm when you cut, and that kind of brings you to a natural stopping place, right? So when you're doing a normal standard cut, when that thumb knuckle hits under your arm, that's your natural stopping point. So when you're swinging a tachi one-handed, the same thing happens, but with the suka. So when the suka hits your arm, that becomes the natural stopping point. So you swing with your whole body, and the suka hits your arm and brings you to a stopping point. And this could be for any type of cut. Like if I cut this way, same thing. The suka hits my arm and brings a natural stopping point. So with the Tsurugi or the Ken, we have this kind of different pommel on the end. And different Tsurugi have different styles. I just made this one quickly this morning, so it's got kind of a large pommel. When you swing the Tsurugi, this pommel will hit your arm and bring you to that stopping place, right? Swinging a Tsurugi is a little different though than a curved sword, because a curved sword you want to arc through the space when you do your cutting. The Tsurugi is not meant to cut like that, so it's more of a push. So I push out from my shoulder here this way when I do my cut, okay? So you let the weight of the sword balance in your hand and leverage out as you push from the shoulder. With the Ken, Sensei and various Japanese instructors in Japan all were saying that doing the Sanshin no kata or Shoshin Gokei with this is considered Kihon. Okay, so for example, if I do Chi no kata here, I can start with this at my hip, right? I can come back and swing and thrust. Okay, so Chi no kata, thrusting. Okay, when we do the other side, I'm going to start this way, right? And I'm going to step back and just thrust. Okay? So, Sui no kata. Sui no kata, starting from here, I do my Jodan uke and then slam this in here. Okay? If we want to do the other side, right, I Jodan uke with the sword and then slam back in. Actually, I do this with the Gyaku footwork. So, Jodan uke, slamming in this way. Okay? So, Ka no kata, Jodan uke, slamming in this way. Okay? Ka no kata with the sword out, you do Jodan Uke and slam in. Okay? So this is kind of a slamming strike on either side. It's less of a cutting strike and more of a blunt force. Okay? Fu no kata, Jodan Uke, thrust. Okay? So on this side, Jodan Uke, thrust. Right? Ku no kata, Jodan Uke, use this for distraction, kick, thrust. On this side, Jodan Uke, kick, thrust. Okay, so you kind of add an extra attack on Ku no kata with the sword, that extra thrust. Yeah. So when you're doing the uke with this, it's a little different from normal uke. When we do Shoshingoke, our normal uke has this big rolling motion using the whole body to do Jodan uke. This creates a different relationship there. So as James cuts down, right, I simply push this out. So from without James here, as I evade, it just pushes out. And then you're blocking with the shinogi, it's called, which would be the center ridge along both sides of the sword. This one that I made this morning doesn't have a really prominent center ridge, but a metal one has a line here that you block with. Okay, so once again, if I'm in this position, I can block this way. If I were in this position here, right, I can block this way. Okay, so it's kind of pushing out and blocking with the shinogi there on the side. All right, try that. You cut. So a slam here and thrust. Okay, so obviously against a sword I can't do Jodan uke with my arm, right? If I do the other side, chi no kata, slam here, thrust. Okay, sui no kata. So in here, slamming in, right? So in here, slamming in. Let's do that one again. So in here, cutting in. Okay. Ka no kata. So ka. Again on the other side. So ka. All right. Now thrust low for the fu no kata. So fu in here. That's that side. This side in here. Okay, we might be out of camera, so back up just a little. All right, ku no kata. Yep. So in here. All right. Remember, ku's a void, so it has different aspects to it. So he thrusts. I'm in here. I kick. Finish with the thrust. Let's do that again. Ku no kata, kick, thrust. All right. So ku no kata in here, high distraction, kick, thrust. All right. So when you block in sui, don't let the sword flop over. Right, it's just like Jodan uke style. So one thing that Soke was really emphasizing when doing sanshin or gogyo with the ken or the tsurugi was most of us were taking distance that was too big, right? So like if I do chi no kata here against James and he's cutting down, right? I'm taking this really big, long distance, right? Which for me feels safer with against his sword to have that range. But Soke wasn't doing it that way. Soke kept saying that you connect the ken to your body and to your hips, so it moves with your body that way, right? So if I come here and I block, I'm just going to come in like this, using my body, having the ken connected to my hip, right? Once again, So Soke was using a much closer distance with these. And that allows you to do stuff like that, where you place the ken on the guy's body and affect his balance. So you see here I've hooked his arm and I got the ken across the back of his neck. Okay, let's try this side. So in chi no kata, right, I can give this block here, and then when I thrust in, I'm thrusting in with my body, connecting the ken to my body, to my hip. You can make it an even shorter distance if you place it here and thrust. Okay, it's a little hazardous against his sword, so you have to enter with the right timing and the right angle. So here, right, I'm just in, and then I can press in using it this way. Okay, so this is something that Soke was sharing with all of us about connecting the ken to your spine and to your body as you move, and it's an important detail.